I'm Johnny B, and welcome back to McKinney ISD Sports Talk. Well, I was hoping that I'd be talking to this guy about his next football game, but nonetheless, just a great season for the McKinney Boyd Broncos, joined by head coach Don Drake. And Coach, there's been expectations in this Bronco program since you built it. I mean, the bar has been raised, but yet another great season and some first and beating some heavy competition.
Yeah, the kids had an outstanding year, and that was the thing I told them. While it never ends quite like you want it to unless you win the state championship, these kids accomplished a lot of things, got to experience a lot of great things. I mean, playing back-to-back weeks in Cowboy Stadium, what an awesome experience, and created a lot of memories for those guys to take with them. So very, very proud of this group, what they accomplished, and they played some great football throughout the course of the year.
We talk about it with your non-district schedule, that because of your tough district, you want to play some great teams, and you also wanted that program kind of take that step forward, and it did this year when you beat Capel for the first time.
No doubt. That was a big win for us. That was one of those statement kind of victories, I think, that gave us some momentum headed into the latter part of the year. I think kind of put us on the map, to be honest with you. Made some people kind of take notice of what our kids are doing over here, and so very, very proud again of what our guys have accomplished throughout the year.
And when you look at that last part of the season, you really had to throttle up. We've talked about it many times. You were in playoff mode in week 7 because you had to win those games, and it seemed to me in watching your team that not only did they respond, but they hit another gear.
Yeah, they played really well. We won 6 games in a row to finish the year. We've won 5 before a couple of different times. We'd never gotten to 6. Those guys put together six straight victories in a row, which was pretty impressive, and against some good competition. I mean, if you go back and look at the Plano victory, the Marcus victory, I mean, those are 2 really good football teams, and we were all in a battle for that last playoff spot, and so we came out winning both of those games and put us into the playoffs. And so kids did a great job.
Seniors got to play like seniors if you're ever going to be successful. They've got to be the face. They've got to be leaders. Your senior group, Dedrick Scrivens and the rest of those seniors, really took that role on their shoulders. And even when you watch their progress from juniors to seniors, you got to be pleased with how they progressed.
Yeah, the maturity that they possessed, the unity that group possessed, their work ethic, their coachability. I mean, it's what a great group of young men. I'm so proud of them and what they've done. Most of them had been with us for 4 years, and so they knew what we were about. They knew what the expectation level was. Making the playoffs was something that they expected to do from the start, and then when it came to crunch time and doing what we needed to do to make the playoffs, they just upped their level of play and made sure that we got back in. But the example that they set for all the guys below them was outstanding. Just the work ethic, the attitude, the positive approach, the leadership, all of those things. I'm just very, very proud of that group.
I think you found a quarterback because
Yeah.
we talk about Grant Ressmeyer, and you and I spoke so many times from the beginning of the season. A lot of people wondered about his identity. What kind of quarterback would he be? Would he just be a manager? And you and I both said by the end of the season, he was a factor.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, in the last game of the year, I mean, threw for over 300 yards against Cedar Hill in our playoff loss. Had some outstanding nights throughout the course of the year. I think ended up with 24 touchdowns against 4 interceptions, and 3 of those 4 interceptions I think were off tip balls and diving catches in order for him to get picked off. So kind of some freakish plays. So I think he did a great job for us at quarterback. Kind of came into his own, the confidence that he possesses, his ability to throw the football. Obviously we have some guys he's throwing to that are making plays, and I don't want to discount that at all, but I've always challenged those guys to be able to put the ball in a place for a kick and go make a catch, and he does that very, very well.
He'll be a leader next year,
no doubt,
as you look forward to it. So talk a little bit about the upcoming season and the majority of players that you have coming back. And again, if you play Bronco football, you're expected to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt. We've got a great group of skill kids coming back offensively. I mean, our whole receiving core will be back. Obviously, we graduate Dedrick Scrivens, so we're going to have to find somebody to take over those rushing duties, but you return the quarterback, you return all of the receiving core. We've got a couple of offensive linemen that are coming back up front, 3 that have played a significant number of snaps, and we actually have a couple other faces that played some this year due to injury, etc. So offensively, I think there's 6 starters that are coming back, so we feel really good about that. Defensively, we graduate a strong nucleus of kids. When you talk about both safeties, both outside linebackers, 2 of our defensive front, you know, there's 6 faces that are graduating. They were significant contributors for us defensively. But we feel like the other 5, you know, you've got both corners coming back, both inside linebackers. We've got one down lineman that's coming back. They've played a lot of snaps against some great football teams and have done a really good job. So we feel like we've got a pretty solid core of kids that are returning that have played a lot of snaps.
We have some highlights from AT&T Stadium to take a look at the Boyd Broncos or over the years. So let's take a look at some of the things that this Bronco football team did.
Yeah, this was the first snap of the game. You'll see Grant coming back to the backside read there to Jeremiah Campbell in the post pattern. What an exciting way to start this playoff game. You know, sports is such a roller coaster emotionally, right? And so, you know, we started right there on the mountain, and, you know, unfortunately we were not able to keep them out of the end zone on their first possession, but man, what a great way to start.
Well, when you talk about Cedar Hill and that club, I mean, that was one of the teams that have been ranked up there from the beginning of the season. And, you know, again, it goes back to you're not intimidated by competition because from the get-go in your season, you're priming these kids to play top competition.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, Cedar Hill's the defending champion from last year, you know, and they're right back now still playing. I mean, they'll play South Lake Carroll this week in the state quarterfinals, so they've got another great chance to go win it again. And, you know, our kids kept battling. They kept competing. You saw some great clips there of us defensively, you know, getting hatched to the football like we've seen all year. Again, some shots there of us running the football. You know, Grant completed that pass there to Jeremiah Campbell a couple of shots ago. So, you know, our kids came out and competed very, very well. We came up short, obviously, but it wasn't due to a lack of effort or intimidation.
How do you feel that they handled the experience of Cowboy Stadium? You played 2 weeks in a row, and I would see by the second week they were like, hey, this is just another game.
Yeah, you know, the first week it was eye-popping to say the least. The second week we had been there before, so it was still an awesome experience. The crowd was huge that day because of the number of games that are being played there. But I thought our kids handled that atmosphere very well. You know, what some great memories that were made that weekend, or those 2 weekends for our guys that they'll be able to reflect back on for the rest of their life.
You take a look at this defense, and Don, I know I've been redundant with you, and I've said it before, but from week 7, they needed to ramp up. Not that they haven't all year, but they just played at another level, and you're just not seeing one guy around the football. I mean, you're just seeing, you know, look at all your white jerseys here on a misdirection that are still around the football. Yeah, the guys do a great job of running to the football. We talk about team defense and team tackling. There you see a great pass there to Brandon Bowling from Grant. But it's so important, you know, the whole team concept. That's why I love the game of football, because it is so team-oriented. You have to have those guys be willing to play for each other and play with each other in order to create things positive for your football team. It's a great catch by Cassidy Woods there to put us in the red zone. Again, it's just what we're talking about. I mean, white jerseys flying to the ball. And so, you know, that team concept our kids really have bought into. They believe in it, and you can see it as you watch them play. Don, it's really kind of sunk in when you took over the program and opened Boyd. I mean, you think back to, and we've talked before about your first year with no senior class, and you didn't win a football game, and now here's the program playing at Cowboy Stadium. Yeah, it's been quite a journey. You know, 9 seasons. What an outstanding play there by Dedrick, right? It's been 9 seasons. It's been an awesome journey. You know, the last 5 years of playing at the level that we're playing, to make the playoffs all 5 of those years, to have, you know, 8-win seasons. We've had 9-win seasons. You know, we've advanced as far as the second round of the playoffs for several years now out of those 5. So, you know, the program's come a long way from where we began back in 2006. Obviously, our goal is to go win a state championship. That's what we have our sights set on. That's what we're working toward. And I think we're taking steps toward that. You know, we've obviously got more work to do, or we'd still be playing. But just really feel good about where we're at, what our kids have bought into, what our coaches have been able to instill in them, and we look forward to continued success. Another great year, another great run, and the bar set high. And, you know, if you're going to play Boyd football, you'll be there at the end of the year. Thanks for everything this year, Coach Drake. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Coach Don Drake from the McKinney Boyd Broncos. We'll have more on the way as McKinney ISD Sports Talk continues.